Instead of considering all the possible career paths, I only looked at 3. Instead of giving myself some time to think about it, I signed up for a legal career in just a few days. Instead of asking myself what my dream job was, I shelved my dream at the very first dizzying smell of adulthood, implicitly telling myself, "You're not worthy of having dreams." Hi all! Today I'm partnering with Skillshare to tell you the story of how I went from being a full-time corporate Joanne to a full-time entrepreneur and content creator. Many eons ago, more like 24 years ago, I graduated college with a degree in English. I didn't have a job. I had tens of thousands of dollars in school loans though. I had credit card debt, and my parents were breathing down my neck about my future. So I did what any normal 20-something would do in that sitch. I panicked. Does any of this sound familiar to you? I looked at 3 possible career paths: business, medicine, and law. I don't really like selling things, and I pass out at the sight of blood, so that left only one real career path for me: law. So I signed up for an LSAT class, took the test, applied to only 2 law schools, got into both, and I graduated just a few years later. I had a full-time offer a full year before graduating. That was the appealing thing about a career in law. Once you got into law school, the rest of your path was determined for you, and that was what I thought I needed. Now, isn't it funny how panic can look so methodical, so responsible, so adult? Instead of considering all the possible career paths, I only looked at 3. Instead of giving myself some time to think about it, I signed up for a legal career in just a few days. Instead of asking myself what my dream job was, I shelved my dream at the very first dizzying smell of adulthood, implicitly telling myself, "You're not worthy of having dreams," and thus began a 17-year career in big law, where every single day I became not just an expert in legal codes, but on how to suppress chronic anxiety, where I tell myself it's okay that you don't really like your job that much because at least you have health insurance, or those dreams you had when you were a kid, well, you're not a kid anymore, so grow up and stop complaining. Or, you know, there are some folks out there who would kill to have your job. You should be grateful. Any of this sound familiar to you? In 2016, I started a blog as a hobby, something that would help take my mind off a job that was slowly sucking me dry. I began taking photos of my food and sharing them on social media. I called my blog The Korean Vegan. When I had time after work, I'd make something healthy and delicious for dinner. I'd snap a photo of it with my phone and post it on Instagram. Eventually, I spent some of my hard-earned dough on a nice camera and started taking real interest in food photography. My little blog started to gain some traction. People liked my photos. They liked my food. They even liked me. People told me I should monetize my blog, turn my brand, The Korean Vegan, into a business. But guess what? That same voice, the one that told me I wasn't good enough to have dreams, it piped right up with, "The Korean Vegan is a really nice hobby, Joanne, but your lawyer job? That's not going anywhere." For 4 years, I continued my little hobby between court hearings, depositions, and trials, and then one day, I listened to a podcast that discussed how many of the most successful people in the world started their careers in a totally different field, that many of them often failed a lot before getting to the top of their respective industries, that most of them were in their mid-30s, 40s, and even 50s when they got started. That podcast episode was so important because it told me something I wasn't able to tell myself for a very long time. You're allowed to dream again. It was exhilarating. It was also terrifying. After I gave myself permission, I finally found the courage to leave my full-time lawyer job and turn the Korean Vegan into a successful business.
Yesterday was my final day as a full-time partner at my law firm. I've been a lawyer for 17 years, and from the day I started law school, I was basically an arrow pointed directly at partnership. But a few months ago, a good friend said something to me that really struck a chord. Joanne, no offense, because I'm sure you're a really good lawyer, but I'm also sure they can find someone else to do what you do. There is nobody else who can do what you do as the Korean vegan. As much as I appreciate the skills I learned at the law firm, I now feel ready to apply those skills to things I'm much more passionate about. I feel most alive when I use my voice to speak for those whose voices have been diminished, distorted, or even silenced, like those belonging to my parents and my grandparents and others whose stories remain unheard. My hope is that by sharing their stories, you can see bits of your own family, and maybe by sharing mine, you can see pieces of yourself and realize that your story, however unbeautiful you think it is, deserves to be heard too. Yesterday was my last day as a full-time lawyer. Today is my first day as a full-time creator.
I posted that video the day I quit my full-time job, and for the most part, my community, they celebrated with me. But there was that one person who didn't like my video. She said that it was irresponsible of me to make dream chasing look so simple and easy. I actually took her feedback to heart. That's right, I listen to y'all's negative comments sometimes, but the thing is, it's just not possible to tell you all the things I did, all the things I didn't, and all the things I should have done or shouldn't have done in a 60-second video. In fact, I can't even do it in a 20-minute video. But I really wanted to. I wanted to get into the weeds of how to pursue your dreams strategically. And then, boom! Skillshare reached out to me and asked me, hey, would you like to create a course on strategic dream chasing? Yeah? I finally had a reason to write it all down, show you all the spreadsheets, of course there were spreadsheets, and talk through all the lovely hurdles erected by my very own version of imposter syndrome. I spent weeks and weeks writing it all down, incorporating stories from those who inspired me, and putting myself back in the shoes of the Joanne who thought her dreams didn't deserve to breathe. You can log into Skillshare right now, where you can find my course, From Passion to Profit, to turn your hobby into a full-time career. Now, before I tell you what I put in my Skillshare course, here's what it is not going to do. It's not going to give you a guarantee that all your dreams will come true. It's not going to outline a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not going to tell you to sign up for a crypto scam. And it's not going to make you sit through 10 long, boring videos of stuff you already know. Like I said, I took that one negative comment on my short very seriously, and I spent hours and hours and hours covering basically all the things. How to objectively evaluate the viability of your dream. How to define a brand that effectively communicates your unique skill and service. How to put together a financial plan and budget for your dream. How to confront your imposter syndrome to pursue your dream. I even put together templates for your financial plan, your budget, your business plan, and even a potential pitch to investors, because I had all of it already done for myself, because you guys know I love spreadsheets, I love templates, and I wanted to share it with you. Does it sound too good to be true? Well, guess what? You can try it out on Skillshare for 30 days for free if you use the link in my description, which basically means you can watch my entire class for free if you watch it all in 30 days, which you totally can. Here's the thing. I worked really hard on this course. I wrote every single freaking word of it. This isn't just me talking mindlessly into a camera for hours on end. This is a precisely written course divided into manageable chunks with homework assignments that are all aimed at showing you how to strategically pursue your dreams. So check out my course on Skillshare, Turning Passion into Profit, where I will tell you what someone once told me: you are allowed to dream again.